Now, what I'd like to do now is to move directly from Africa itself and begin to examine the African presence around the world.
The Kalahari Desert, Namibia. I'm here to find an extraordinary ancient tribe of people, the San Bushmen. Our research shows that their distant relatives left Africa and set in motion the family tree of mankind. From them stemmed every color, creed, and nationality alive today. Everything predicted in their blood seems to be written in their faces. It's like looking at a composite model of every face from around the world. The eye shape of East Asians, the high cheekbones of Mongolians, the mid-brown skin that could turn darker or lighter.
So the San, also called Bushmen, and these are very ancient people whose history in southern Africa is perhaps 40,000 years old or more, probably older than that. I would suspect more like 100,000 years. Now, 10 or 15 years ago, showing this image, I would have said that that they look like East Asians, like Chinese, like Koreans, etc. But now I would say that East Asians look like them. And there's a good reason for that, because these folk like this are the original people of Africa and Asia, or at least very ancient people. And then we see something very similar with this San woman right here. And this is interesting because it shows that not all black people are dark. Some black people are naturally light-skinned. It has nothing to do with racial intermingling. Again, we're talking about the original man, the original woman, original humanity, black coming out of Africa.
The Nile River, which we came down, flows from south to north. See, we came down the river. They came up the river. So when we came down in this direction, we looked at this as the bottom. This is the bottom. And see, a lot of the ancient fossils is in the Central East region of Africa, but they left this region and went south before they came down north. You'll find a lot of ancient artifacts in South Africa. So they went south before they came north. And so all these civilizations down here, even India, they got enough nerves to act like they as ancient as Africa. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. And we can prove it by any, they ain't got no artifacts in India, even 500,000 years old. 300,000-400,000. They talking about them people got over there about 50,000. We don't really know. We don't really know, but it's not in comparison at all to what was going on in Africa. And so this is the true view in which you should look at the world. These peoples is at the bottom, and you on the top. And we know that Africa is on top anyway, because this is the hottest region on the planet, which means it has to be directly above the sun. So it got to be at the top. Those continents that are cold are away from the sun. They on the side or the bottom. That's just common sense. Okay? Now, looking at this viewpoint, you're going to see that a lot of our people came, even before they got down to Egypt. They was coming across this ocean, and this is not the Indian Ocean. Okay? You can put whatever damn name in there off of Africa that you want. How the hell the Indian gonna have an ocean? And he stole that land from the nappy-head Buddha. And I'm gonna show you that. You see what I'm saying? And so all of these, see, this is the end of the story. When you start seeing India, Iran, Pakistan, China, you see, this is the end of the story.
Now, this is the first world right here. This is the first world, okay? This is the reason you think it's upside down, but it's not. It's top side up. See, because our people came down the river, okay? We came down the river. So Europe and all Upper Asia is on the bottom to our people. That's why when you read Egyptian history, this is Lower Egypt, and up here is Upper Egypt. This is Lower Sudan, this is Upper Sudan, because they're considering this the top, okay, when you do your research. And so our peoples was I'm going to deal with the monsoons. You got the MONS in India. See, those are those wind currents. And I'm going to show you the months where it blows towards India. Okay? They blowing hard too. So you can bring large commodities during these times, and then for 4 or 5 months they switch and go back to Africa. So our peoples was coming, this is what you call the southern hemisphere. And our peoples was coming across these oceans tens of thousands of years ago. You're coming into Australia, coming into what you call Indonesia, coming into, you know, what they call this Polynesia and all these crazy ass words, just to keep from calling it African people. Okay, this is right side up for people just can't take this way. They say, God damn it, I don't want to say that. I know what you're talking about, but in case you need to see it this way. Okay, and so again, the monsoons is coming up the Mozambique Channel, and they blowing all through here, what they call the Arabian Sea, and if you put any boat in it, it's gonna land you right into India, automatically. And if you come low enough, it'll shoot you up under and come over here into the Bay of Bengal. These are the monsoons, the winds in July, okay? And it's showing you the winds that's blowing all through here, okay? And so these Africans was coming over here a long time ago, family. We talking about the white, we talking about 10,000 years before the white man even showed up. We was always, so this was Kush. So when you hear Nagar, which this is Nagaland, but I'm gonna show you where it's all throughout the culture. The Twa, and that's where the Twa stay at. The little short, which y'all call, what the Western world call pygmies. This is where they stay, most of them stay at right now today, the rainforest. They was the first one that gathered the medicine. They was there for hundreds of millions of years. This is where they was. And these was the little Twa and the San people. You know, they call them Bushmen. They got that real short, tight, curly hair, and they got slant eyes. And they was the first 2 types that went out all over the world. The Chinese with the slant eye, they come out of the Bushmen. Okay? And so the woolly head types was all through this era. Now, you can see the techniques. This is at Angkor Wat, and I'm going there. And that's Angkor. Angkor. You can hear the words. You can hear them. And see, when you're looking at this type of technology, this is over thousands of years of development. You can't do this in a day. So just like if anybody in the world want to take architecture, there's only so many schools. Like a skyscraper downtown, there's only so many schools that can teach you how to build skyscrapers. It's the same with this. These people had to go to school to learn how to carve like this. There's no doubt about it. And so what schools was on the planet at that time still teaching people how to carve stone like that? And you can see right here, this ain't solid. This solid. This got splits in it. See, they can piece that together. That ain't even solid. You can see the cracks of it. That's not solid. So it's as beautiful as it is. We honor our brothers and sisters in Asia that built that, but it still can't compare to Egypt. Egypt is our greatest performance as a people. When you want to show the greatness of Africa, you take them straight to Egypt. Now you see how you got the colonnade, you got these statues that lead all the way down to the temple. You got this long, and this is almost like the church. It's oblong. You ain't just walk up to the door, you got to walk down what they call the nave. You got to walk down to, and this one road led down to the temple of Karnak. This is the temple of Luxor. So this is 1.5 miles. And these hormatics, which they call sphinxes, is that long. This was the longest, they said this was the most grand walkway in the ancient world. And when you come to Angkor Wat, it's aligned the same way. Let me go on this side. You see right here, they got the sacred lake. Just like at Karnak, they got the sacred lake. You see right here, but these is Nagars. Okay? But here, they got the hormati. Okay? The the horn out. This is Karnak. And here you see him holding the Naga. This is divine in Asia. Another thing that you should recognize, this is an Egyptian priest. You can see right here where they got the bald head from the Egyptian priest. I'm going to keep showing you, because all this shit is far beyond coincidental. This is an Egyptian priest. This is the Naga priest. Egyptian priest, Naga priest. See, the bald head, they shave their hair. Let me come out there. You're looking at some of the faces. Automatically when you see them lips. You see that nose? Ain't no goddamn Asian got no face like that. Nowhere. None of them goddamn Chinese, you go get your Chinese choop, whatever you eat, and shit, and they don't look nothing like this. Okay? And I want y'all to look at, these is the Naga. Now this Tar and this is a Khmer, an Asian Kushite. You come out there. Okay? Now, again, I want y'all to look, because I'm gonna give y'all the URL. I just want y'all to stick to the woolly hair. I ain't even got the dates. These is 500, I got them on other pictures, 500 BC. This one about 300 BC. Okay, now look at this. Look at this. This is Buddha. Now I got the book, I wasn't able to get it all in. Now the thing that even Eugene Adams, he most definitely marked in his DVD that Buddha was born from a Naga family. They are also human beings, okay? If you go do the research, they were Naga kings. These were real people. Now, this is the KHOISAN. See that peppercorn hair? See that slant eye? See? See? These are our people that went into Asia. This is where the Chinese come from. See these? These are some of our brothers and sisters that there right now in the South Pacific. Woolly hair. Not the straight haired one, but the woolly hair ones. These is for Champa. Champa. And I'm going to get off into that. Cham, which is calm, which is black. Okay? Let me know now. I'm going to keep going. Okay? Now, this is the Ottoman Islands. This is where this sister come from. Right there. And so, like I say, our family is all through here. But when the Europeans and the white Asians came on the scene, they pushed the majority of our people and killed them. His murder went on all through that area. And that's a Naga, coming out of Naga land. So I want y'all to see that. And this is An's woman. And this is right here, the Ottoman Island. She's from there. So these ain't the straight, the dark-skinned Indian types with the straight hair. These is full-blooded African people. Okay? These are the original Nagas. Okay? Y'all need to get that shit through y'all head.
Now this image takes us to another part of Asia, and one of my favorite places in Asia. And of course, this black woman is from Cambodia. And specifically, she is called an Apsara. You spell that A-P-S-A-R-A. And she adorns the temple walls of the largest temple complex in mainland Southeast Asia. That temple complex being Angkor Wat. And this is what the images on the outside of the temple look like. Black women with what we would today call locks or braids, big, beautiful lips made for kissing, and the nose is knocked off. And again, this is very similar to what we see in ancient Egypt. We'll have to do a presentation at some point that focuses on the missing noses of African people. This image also is in the Angkor Wat Temple, but instead of the outside walls, this is in the Holy of Holies. This is the innermost sanctuary of Angkor Wat Temple. And this is a bodhisattva. This is a person who has received or who has achieved a state of enlightenment similar to the Buddha himself. But a bodhisattva is different from a Buddha in the sense that the bodhisattva has chosen to remain among the world of men and women to help others achieve enlightenment and achieve nirvana. And here you can see a coal black image with happy to be nappy hair and Africoid features. And this is how the deity is worshipped in Cambodia. This is my actual photograph. You can go there and you can see Buddhist nuns and Buddhist monks prostrate themselves before this deity. This is one of my favorite images from Southeast Asia, if not the world itself. And this image is again in Cambodia, I would say perhaps 10 miles from the Angkor Wat Temple. This is the entrance to an ancient city in Cambodia built by a group of people called the KHMERS, who adored their beautiful black skin, burnished bronze skin they call it. The city is called Angkor Thom, not Uncle Tom, but Angkor Thom. And I took this photograph myself. Now, and again, this is another really important image for me, Renoko Rashidi personally. This is an image of the Buddha from Vietnam, and this one is in a special museum in France called the Musée Guémet. This museum is devoted to nothing but Asian artifacts. And this is an image of the Buddha, I think from the 8th century AD. And I like this image so much that when I go to France and when I go to this museum, I actually come and speak to this image. When I see these images in the museums, it's as though I'm greeting old friends and family members of mine. Indeed, I think I'm an old soul too. But it gives me just tremendous pleasure and a sense of serenity to be in the presence of these images. Now, with these images, this next sequence, we look briefly at the original men and women of Southeast Asia. For example, this is an image of a black man from Vietnam. This is an image of a black woman and her 2 children in Malaysia, and specifically northern Malaysia. I hope to visit Malaysia in 2007, and this is just across the border. These are images of a black woman and her child in southern Thailand. So these are the original people in that part of the world. And then this one, of course, takes us to the Philippines. And all of these black populations, short in stature, make up the original people in that part of the world, and they are slowly disappearing. They're being absorbed into larger populations. It's interesting, too, that the last Miss Filipino, or Miss Philippines in the beauty pageant, was a black woman of short stature just like these. These people are commonly called negritos or ETA. These are pejorative words. The word negrito is a word introduced by the Spanish, which simply means little Negro. The word ETA is a Tagalog word. The Tagalog are the majority population of the Philippines today. It means filthy. We call them ACTA, A-G-T-A, and that's what they call themselves. And the word basically means simply the people, as if they were the original people. They are very clear about who they are and what their history is in the Philippines. And here you find from the Shang dynasty in China an image of a tiger holding a black child. This is made of bronze. This is in the Chanucci Museum in Paris. This museum in Paris has nothing but Chinese artifacts. I have to give Europeans great credit for one thing, if nothing else. They stole a lot. You know, they are thieves par excellence. And it's amazing there are any artifacts left in the countries of origin. This is in the Chanucci Museum in Paris. This is called the Tigress. And it's an image of a tiger, bronze, Shang dynasty, the first dynasty in China, protecting a black child. You can look at the features there. They do not represent the features of the Han Chinese. This is from east of China. Of course, this is an image from Japan. This is an image of Fudo Mayo, F-U-D-O, Mayo, M-Y-O. And the name means the immovable one. And Fudo Mayo is one of the 5 wisdom kings in Japanese mythology. He is patron deity of the samurai, the aristocracy of Japan. There are 2 proverbs that have been used to suggest an African presence in Japan, a black presence in Japan, used by no less than the great Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. This is also from Japan. This is an image of the Buddha. Of course, the story is the Buddha got his tightly curled hair like that. In fact, some people would even tell you that that's not the Buddha's hair. Those naps, those kinks, those knots on his head that seem so obvious to many of us. I was told at a museum in Los Angeles that the reason the Buddha has hair like that is because it was very hot one day. He was sitting under the Bodhi tree, and to protect him from the sun, these snails crawled up on top of his head. Now, I'm the sort of person that doesn't take anything lightly. I went to India. I went to Bodh Gaya. I found the Bodhi tree. I sat under the Bodhi tree for the better part of a day. None of those snails crawled up on top of my head. Perhaps I'm not as pious as the Buddha, but I wanted to test that theory. And even if there were snails on top of his head, I don't know how that would account for the black skin. Maybe he got sunburnt being under the sun, but he also got a big nose. He got wide cheekbones, or what I think Dr. Robinson calls, I think he refers to majestic lips and nose or something like that. The great Dr. Edward Robinson that I've had the privilege to be with this afternoon in Philadelphia.
You see, even there, that's small. That's on top. That ain't, that's just more of a building with a small pyramid-like structure on the top. See, they ain't even got that excellent architectural knowledge no more. They still know the science, but it's digressing. You see? But that's our people. And that's a real statue of an Asian with woolly hair, not the straight one. See? But then, see, that messed up your yoga time. Because y'all say they know all of this science. And we can show where they usurped our woolly-haired brothers. Pushed them down into the islands, committed genocide on them, and called them the untouchables. And so, see that right there to the right, that's a Kushite in India. See, that's a Buddha. See that woolly hair? They preceded them straight hair ones there. This is the original African of Asia. Okay? And then everybody looking at the little one at 7-Eleven thinking he's the Indian. Thinking he's the one that was in there. He's not the original man of that land. He's not the original man. Look at this. The MONS people. You see that? That's an African. They the ones that ruled over in that area before them straight-haired people. And a lot of them is still there. You have to go to some of them South Pacific islands. They still there, woolly-haired Africans. They just didn't push them more in the South. And you see anywhere where you see large statues like this, they always of African people. You cannot find these type of statues this large with this quality in Europe at all. And so again, you're looking at a Buddha. This is not something black people made up. This is original. Ain't no goddamn Asian the ones you see over, got nothing like that on their head. So when you look at the deity, that show you who was in power. Because only the man in power, deity, gonna be visually seen and respected. Okay? You know who in power. Okay? Again, looking at some of the Africans from Asia. These is woolly-haired Africans. These is the Nagars. See? Okay, look at the imposter. See? Now look at this imposter. See? These is not the originals. See? You was their first African. You was on every continent, but they showed homage to Africa as the Holy Land. So all of that trying to blur the lines, talking about we everywhere. Yeah, we everywhere, but they pay homage to Africa as the Holy Land. And them pyramids is documentation of that. Okay? It's the documentation of that. I'm going to keep it moving. Now you see this 3,000 years before the Indian even on the scene. He got that from the Africans that preceded him by thousands of years. He don't know what the hell he's doing. He just took it because he knew that it was righteous and that we were the chosen of God and it must be right. If we see them doing it, we gonna do it. See? But the African got it from the baboon. See? We was watching, that's what the metal net is. When you're watching everything in creation, you're gonna get a science from it. You're gonna get a science from it. Okay? And so they was watching the baboons praying to Ra when Ra rise in the morning and they began to pray to Ra. Okay? See? Now when you see that our African family got it from the baboon, he can't tell you where the hell it came from. He don't know the deeper science. See, you got to go back to Africa to get the deeper science. That's how you know Africa holds the key. Anytime when you take it way back to the source of it, and that's an African animal, then you see that ritual in the secret societies all over the planet. You know that Egypt and Africa is the mother of the mysteries. Okay? See, he don't know what the hell he's doing. He's just doing the ritual. But that brother right there, that priest got the science.
If you don't believe me, look it up. I'm trying to share the shit that I learned with y'all.